All right, well, we're in the beautiful confines of the Langton Hotel on John Street in Kilkenny, great medieval city. I'm delighted to be joined in the build-up to the All-Ireland final this weekend by none other than Eamon Langton. Eamon, how are you keeping?
Keeping good. Very well, thanks.
The man with the name on the door. It goes back generations, this place in the family, doesn't it?
Big time, yes, back generations.
So what's the history behind the hotel? Is it back to the 30s to your?
No, no, my mother and father. My mother and father took it over in the 30s. And my dad ran it up to 1975. And I took it over in 75.
And it's always been, I guess the reason why I'm in it today is because it's always been linked to hurling in one way or another. And I know everything in Kilkenny comes back to hurling in some sense, but what's the hurling link been? Because I guess the parties thereafter have always been here.
Well, we were very fortunate because in 1975 I was asked would we do the catering for the teams. And it was such an honour and such an opportunity, and the association with hurling was always a link to Langtons, but especially since 75.
And you'd have been I guess that St Kieran's College is a place that rings off the tongue when it comes to hurling. You'd have been at St Kieran's College man yourself.
Yes, Kieran's College.
So what was that like in school back then? Because I guess you're handed a hurler as soon as you come in the door nearly.
Well, hurling was very good, very prominent, and in those days, Father Tommy Marr, who was an amazing man about hurling, he was a maths teacher, and I was privileged to be taught maths by Father Tommy Marr.
And it's funny because I've heard people talking about Tommy Marr and using the maths almost in his coaching, that it's almost scientific.
Yeah, but he was so much in front of everyone else. He read it so well, and he enticed every one of us. He certainly made Kilkenny hurling as it is today.
And it's not just family linked to the hotel, but there's family linked to hurling yourself as well. I'm just looking at some of the stats here for your uncle Jim,
Yes.
Jim Langton. So two All Irelands, if I've got this right.
Yes.
He's got an All Star as well, a left wing forward by all accounts. And this is the incredible one: 15 goals and 146 points. And I think it was only surpassed then by the great Eddie Kerr years later. So tell us what you knew about your uncle Jim growing up.
Well, my uncle Jim was much, as my mother used to say, your Uncle Jim is what we need. He put our name forward. He was an extremely good hurler, won 2 All-Irelands, 39 and 47. And as my mother said to me one day, don't ever fall out with your Uncle Jim.
He was that kind of character, wasn't he? He was probably the same type of character off the pitch as on. Like those 2 All-Irelands that you mentioned, both beating Cork, I think, in the final. Like, would you have been? What are your memories of those, and even being told about them? Yeah, I would never assume so.
No, I'm afraid I didn't see either of those. I was fortunate enough to come about in 48.
But I'm sure you were told the stories, and I'm sure Jim passed them on.
He had great friends. He had one particular friend in Kilkenny, Kilkenny secretary, Paddy Grace, which was well associated with Kilkenny. And then he had great friends, the great Laurie Marr, and he had a good friend of his that went to New York, Terry Lahey. Star, every one of them.
Would you have been someone growing up, I guess, going to All-Ireland finals or big Leinster finals or Kilkenny matches generally? Was it an obsession? Was it something that you made the most of?
You had to be there. My dad would have brought me to numerous matches. And to see the winning and then the enthusiasm, and everybody becomes, what a day.
I'm sure you don't get sick of it as well. Like even this week and last week, building up to the game against Limerick, it must build an excitement even still.
There's like amazing excitement, which suits every one of us, from the staff, all staff, management, all enthusiastic about it. And they all become very good friends because of the fact that the team comes in so many nights every week. So we have a good bond.
And I'm sure you had a good bond with the main man himself back in the day, Brian Cody as well, who for decades just ran the tight ship.
Brian Cody would have been one of our favourites and very much endorsed Langtons. And we would like to say, so happy to be associated with the famous Brian Cody. Amazing man.
and the man who's, I guess, taken the mantle from him, Derek Ling, hasn't done a bad job in his first year. It's been pretty impressive so far.
I think Derek Lynn has taken it so well, and he's a real leader, a leader in every sense. So we're quietly optimistic.
How do you feel the year has gone? I mean, the performances have been brilliant. Even if you think back to the Galway game and the Leinster final, and it was game over really until until what happened.
Well, that amazing goal by young Buckley was just what we needed, because we were out, we were gone, 2 points down. It looked as if we'll see you next year, but thankfully we got there.
And similarly in the semi-final, I guess, against Clare, you know, it was a very fancied Clare team, and you know, they're a team that have beaten Limerick already this year, which is not an easy feat. But to get over the line in the manner in which Kilkenny did, some unbelievable performances. I was just chatting to Martin Fogarty earlier, and I mean, his lad Connor had an unbelievable block in the first half, and the save at the end from Owen. It was just littered with unbelievable moments.
Well, to be fair, the match against Clare was as tough as we had all year, and I actually thought Clare might have taken the day, but our lads showed such character and commitment. Very special on the day.
And how do you think the final's going to go? This Limerick team, I guess, going for the famous 4 in a row that Kilkenny managed in 06 to 09. So it'd be nice for Kilkenny to be the team, I guess, for you lads to stop them.
Well, to be fair, we have to admire Limerick. They're an amazing team, a team of teams. We'll do well to be there, and we do exceptionally well to get over the line. But Limerick, in my opinion, will be a big ask, a big ask.
Is it head over heart? Are you going for a Kilkenny win this weekend, or is it, or do you not like to call it maybe?
Well, we're certainly going there in the sense that we're there to win. That's the idea, that's the objective, that's the commitment, that's Kilkenny. But on paper, Limerick are an extremely strong side.
Finally, Eamon, I guess there's been so many coming homes from Dublin up the road after big All-Ireland wins over the years, and Cody, as you mentioned, been amongst a lot of those. There must have been some parties in between these walls. If these walls could talk, I'd say for days after All-Irelands there have been some serious parties.
Well, after All-Irelands, win or lose, I used to join the team on the train, and for some reason we'd have the occasional drink. For some reason we were lucky to get off at Kilkenny as opposed to continue on, but nevertheless they were amazing years, amazing.
Are you heading to the match this weekend yourself?
Yes, yes, we'll be at the match.
Brilliant. Well, listen, it's a nervy one when your county's involved, not least when you have such a strong link with hurling yourself, but enjoy the match as best you can, and thanks a million for chatting with me.
My pleasure, and thank you sincerely.